Hey residents of Meepletown, today we are kind of taking a look at an old classic that is highly acclaimed called Caylus. However, this is the brand spanking new version of it by Space Cowboys called Caylus 1303. We're pumped, so let's get to the table and check out Caylus 1303. Alright, so here we have the setup for Caylus 1303. We have our game board right here, and we are going to be moving along this road, kind of weaving in and out, going towards Caylus, building up Caylus, and we're going to be taking these different worker placement spots. So the first thing that we're going to do is actually, first thing we're going to do is draft our characters. I'll show you that in a second. But what we're going to do is we're going to place our workers here once the game starts. Then we're going to take the actions in order down the road and then basically do that for 9 rounds. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game is going to be the victor.
Or up the road.
Or up the road.
Might be a little more accurate.
Down the road?
Down the road.
That's right.
Up the road.
Moving up the road. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're each going to be drafting one of these characters. I'm going to be the first player, and so Johnny Meepletown is going to draft first, and he already knew what he wanted.
I do. It's going to give me an extra meeple to start off the rounds.
All right.
I want that early in the game.
That's a really good one to have. All right, so early on in the game, I think I would like to have the... I'm gonna change things up.
Really?
Normally I would take this one. I like this one.
That's what I wanted. Actually.
This one is going to move the provost up 1 spot or back a spot. I'll explain how that works here in just a little while. And this one's going to go up here, and we can potentially get those later in the game or even steal each other's character cards as the game progresses. So
there's a little thievery in this game,
There's a little bit of thievery in this one. All right, so first thing that we're going to do is just take workers. In a 2-player game and a 5-player game, you're going to start off with 10 workers. Otherwise, you would start off with 6. But I'm going to place a worker. John's going to place a worker and just keep going back and forth and back and forth. So
yes.
I will, I think, just place this here and take a wood, but I won't do that until we actually take the actions.
Okay, I'm going to then go right here and get me some meat. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to place here. That will allow me to construct one of the wood buildings. There is another spot to be able to do that. If
I should have gone there first because there was another meat. That's why I kind of made that weird noise. Is that a weird noise?
Yeah,
might not be weird.
Pretty weird noise. Well, since John's not going to do that, I think I might go ahead and just take this one.
Son of a gun!
Not sure why you
I was just thinking, he probably going to do that. It's okay. It's okay. Next round will be my round.
Now, one thing I mentioned is that we're going to have 10 workers, but as we take the actions of those workers, they're going to go up here to the work camp. So you kind of potentially have to conserve workers maybe a little bit.
Yep. Another reason I didn't go here is because you'll see how the provost can get moved around and even potentially cause us to not be able to do turns. So it's a little scary having it there because Dean has a power that allows him to move it. How many spaces with the power?
This is 1.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. I might just go ahead and go out.
Really?
Why do I have a black house instead of a yellow house?
That's funny. Normally, John's black. I took the wrong one. I'm going to give you a gold bar.
I got a yellow house right here. Golly.
Oh, that's what you get, gold bar for yours. All right, so now that John has passed, I can keep going. However, it's going to cost me an extra worker to be able to do that. And I don't really want to do that, but part of me does. And so I'm going to place a worker here, which is going to cost me an additional worker later. And I'll lose that worker, and I can keep going again because I do have 5 more workers, but I actually will pass as well. All right, so now what would happen is we're going to go up this road, and we'll explain what this guild bridge does in just a minute. All right, so first thing we're going to do is go up here. I will be able to build a wood building. This worker goes up to the work camp, and I think what I'm going to do, I know what I'd like to do.
I predicted wrong on what you were going to do.
All right, so I'm not going to actually be able to build the things that I really want to, but I'll build some that are okay as well. So I will pay my cost here and take this one, which when you place a worker on that later on will give you 3 workers. But more importantly, right now, I'm going to place my house on here, meaning this is my building. You can place
Back up
on
off
there.
of it.
Yeah, that's right. But if John places on that spot, then I'm going to gain a victory point every time that happens. But immediately right now, since this one's worth 3 victory points, I'm going to take my victory points and put it
Starting off with the early lead.
down. That's right. I can't even find a 3. Okay.
There it is.
Put it face down in front of me, and we keep going. Now we get to this spot right here. This is a guild bridge which lets you move the provost. Now we don't have anybody that's near. I probably could block John out of this spot, but I don't think I'm going to. He would be able to go first, but what you're going to do is you pay a worker per space that you want to move here, up to 3. Now I can move 1 for free, but it doesn't really do me that good.
Yeah, so I'm not going to do it because if he wants to spend 1, 2, 3 meeples to stop me from getting 1 food, go right ahead and do it.
Yeah, it's not worth it for me. So we'll just kind of skip this thing, and he'll move naturally anyway in just a minute. But I'm going to take this spot right here and build again. I'm already...
Will it annoy you a lot if I keep doing that?
Absolutely it will.
You think that Meeple Town likes it?
No, they don't.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to build this one right here, which is going to let us build stone buildings. Right now, these only allow us to build wood buildings. If you take this action, you'll be able to build a stone building over there. And then right away, I get 4 points. Now, if I knew that I was going to be able to get all these points right off the bat, I would have taken this one, which gives you an additional point.
John was an idiot.
John just doesn't care about victory points. That's all. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, what's the point?
All right, so I have no resources.
Are victory points important in this game?
No, they're not at all. All right, so I take that spot and gather a wood bundle. I'm going to take this spot. This is all me right now. And this is going to go up here. Now I have to spend a worker to be able to gain a resource, and I will do that to take a fabric, which it might roll off the table. We'll talk about that for art components, maybe.
Maybe. So I'm just taking 2 moves in a row. I'm just resourcing up here. That's a correct term, isn't it? Hey, you didn't put one of your houses on there. I'll take it.
All right.
You mind?
Oh, man. There we go. Okay. All right, so then we've made it all the way to all of our spaces, moving in order up the road. So then this board the board up here is gonna tell you what to do next. If we had placed a worker here, we would be spending bundles to gain victory points, spending resources to get victory points. We'll probably do that after. Then we would take these actions, which do not come into effect yet, just because they don't. But I'll explain that in a little bit in the next round, because I'm actually going to do that. Then we're going to take our workers and potential resources, but right now it's just workers. So everybody's going to get 3 workers from the work camp.
And I get 4 because I have this fella right here.
John gets an extra 1. If you have some of these tiles that you've claimed, and again, I'll explain that this next round, then you'll be able to get extra workers and maybe even other resources each round.
Oh yeah, look at all the meeples I have, yo!
I know it. You're going to be destroying me this next round, but that's okay. All right, so then we move the provost. The provost is now going to move up to the spot that is right before the last building on the road. Now this one doesn't count because it's not connected.
It's going to drive me nuts.
He said, well, maybe he wants to...
He's going backwards.
Maybe he wants to walk that way.
He's going backwards.
All right, after that happens, we move up to the second round, and then that just shows if it's the end of the last round, then you add up all your points. And then we're ready to start again. This time, John is the first player because he ended the round first last time.
Of course I am. Yes. So... What to do? I'm going to go here first.
I thought you might. All right, I'm going to go here.
Okay, cool. Then I'll do that.
And I don't have as many workers as John this time, so I would like to...
Try to cause me to spend more workers.
I think what I'm going to do is go up here.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Here. Mm-hmm. There we go. Now, I started to take that spot, but I thought if John really wants to go there, then it's going to give me a victory point. I'd be okay with that. So, All right, and then I will skip doing that this time. Mostly for me now, I'm just gathering up resources instead of building anything.
Yeah.
And right now I'm going to take a nap because John...
I know. Well, I'm trying to debate whether I want to be risky. Never happen to risk it. I'll always sit... Nope. That's not how it goes.
Sitting on your biscuit.
Sitting on your biscuit, never happen to risk it.
That's right.
Daryl Feldman. That's what we do here. Okay, I'm not going to risk it, I guess.
You're not going to be mean?
No.
Oh, you are going to place, though.
Nah.
Correct. Oh, you're going to end it?
Yeah.
Because you thought I was going to end it?
Because I know you want to.
All right, so John ends it, and I'm not going to go any farther. So then we will activate these actions. Now, this is the one I was talking about a little bit earlier, and I'll explain how that works now.
I screwed up. That's okay. That was dumb of me.
So this worker goes up here. I spend that one. Now, I'm going to spend a fabric to take one of my buildings and to put it on one of these starting buildings. These are the ones with the yellow banner up there. And let's see, what do I want to place it on? Nothing is going to happen right now other than me placing this on there. So I'll just do this. How about that? Place it right there. All right.
Okie dokie.
Now John's going to build a wood building.
All right, here you go.
Thank you.
I'm going to take this one.
That's a good one. You got points over there? Let me give you some points.
I got points, but you
do have points.
There we go. And then I'm going to go again.
Oh, you don't want to move the
Whoops-a-daisy, whoops-a-daisy.
John, this can be easy to miss.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if...
Well, when you get excited.
That's right.
And I'm excited to build.
When you're excited to take your next action.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is Dean has the one that he can move it. So I basically can use a meeple, and I'm not going to, because I could use a couple meeples to then cause him to use... I don't think it's worth it at the moment.
Yeah, now what could have happened is there is a spot that you can take.
That's where I wanted to go.
The toll spot,
go
that's
ahead and
right.
end it.
Which lets you move the provost for free up to 2 spots. But you have to spend a worker, so...
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm going to go ahead and do that then. I keep standing him up, and you keep knocking him over so they can see it better. All right, I'm going to do this again. And I'm actually going to take this, because I think as the game progresses, there's going to be a lot of people that take that, maybe potentially later on, and I'll go ahead and get 4 victory points.
Now this tile, when activated, lets you turn fabric into points, which all about points. That's what this game is all about. Then you're going to keep going.
Mm-hmm. And now it's your turn.
Take your wood. Get that out of my face.
Thank you, sir.
All right, I'm going to place this here and take a food. And I'll do this one, and I'll have to spend a work. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No, you don't. You already did.
Sorry. I don't have to spend a worker.
If you want to spend an extra worker, go right ahead.
The worker that was here, you take him, put him there, and then you grab 2 more. So additionally, I have a total of 3 workers that I took from activating that spot. All right, that is all of those spots. Now, we still didn't take this spot. Now, this one might not happen that much at the very beginning of the game anyway, but I'll go ahead and explain that real fast. So what would happen is you're going to spend 3 resources. One of those has to be food, and the other 2 have to be different. And once you spend those resources, you're going to get 5 victory points. And then if you have the majority of that, I forget what that was called, construction spot?
I don't know.
I don't remember either. Then you're going to get a favor. Now, what a favor does is allow you to take the action of one of these tiles depending on which round you're in. So at the beginning, we can only take this one. As we progress, say it's the 8th round, then we can choose which one we want to activate here. And then you can take one of these character tiles, meaning that you can have multiple character tiles. Now, or the other option is, instead of activating these, you can take a tile from somebody else. And so it can be mean in that sense. Now, this can be a very mean game. We'll talk about that in the final thoughts. But that is a way of some heavy player interaction there.
A lot. Yeah.
So after you do that, then this first box activates, and that's what I did here. So I put my house here, meaning this is now my house. This is now my property.
Now it's going away.
Flipping this one over, so this action space is no longer available. What it means for me, though, is I'm going to get an extra meeple every time. Then after this happens, the green tiles, which is what this has become, can now become a monument. So I could pay to replace this with one of these monuments over here. However, all of those cost gold. Right now, this is the only spot to get gold. And
so no one has any.
Yeah, early on we won't be able to get that. So that's all that happens right now, but I'm going to get an extra worker. So then we pass over this. Now we get our resources. John's going to get 4.
4 workers.
I'm also going to get 4 now because of my new building.
Yep.
And I'm taking them from my supply. What is wrong with me?
Dude.
All right.
Hey,
you take them from the work camp. Sorry, I probably made a mistake in there somewhere, but oh well.
I don't think so.
All right, then we're going to move the provost again up to now.
All kinds of spots opening up.
Move up the round. We'll be ready for round 3, and that's the gist of how the game plays out. Now, really, that's the entirety of the game, other than you're going to be putting out new buildings and have new worker spots. And at the end of the game, you're just going to have the points that you have, and if you have any gold bars, those are each going to be worth 2 points at the end.
There you
Ready
go.
for our art and components? And
Sure
final
thing,
thoughts?
man.
All right, art and components. Why don't you start that off?
Andrew Bosley. I mean, what else?
That's
What
all
else
he's
can you
gotta
say
say.
about art? I really like the art. I like the outlines of these on the board and like the way they look architectural. If that's a word, I guess it is.
Yeah.
What do you think? Architectural. Yeah. How it's got these lines out here, and like I'll even pull the box back up. I think the logo is fantastic.
Yeah.
I do. I just think it's.
I'm with you.
I really think the logo is awesome, and I have nothing to complain art wise at all. The art's beautiful in this game.
I'm with John on that. I think it's a beautiful production. The resources are not just cubes, but they're actually
Yes.
this one's shaped like meat. The colors on some of the color on the meat isn't my favorite. I would like it to be a little darker. Is that something to complain about?
You don't want to eat rare meat? Little.
I'm a vegetarian. I actually want this to be a pumpkin. That's what I want.
Well.
Anyway, no, I don't have anything to complain about the art components. I'm a big fan.
No, I didn't mention the components because I was going to let Dean, but they're good. These tiles are nice and thick. All these are quality. Nothing to complain about. All very good.
It's all good. Maybe you could use actual gold bars.
Yeah.
All right, now
it's good.
What about the gameplay? Let's talk about the gameplay.
I did art and components, so you start gameplay.
Yeah, so I'll start it off. I mentioned this, and you can kind of see some of this play out. Now, this is a Euro game, but this Euro game has a lot of player interaction.
Sure,
a bunch. This can be a really mean game. And so I don't think it's going to be for everybody, but I'll talk about that a little bit later.
But you don't have to play mean.
You don't.
So, I mean, kind of.
But if you're playing with one person who is going to be mean, they're probably going to win.
Yep.
Right? So the ways that you can, that have the ways that player interaction play out. One is moving the provost to, John mentioned this earlier, but let's say he had placed that there, and let's say I just took this spot and moved the provost back 2 spots. Now, anything farther up the road than what the provost is, they're just going to lose that worker, and they're not going to be able to take the action. And so that can be...
So, yeah, it comes back here, and if I say, well, I'll pay a couple of workers...
Right.
Then Dean, he has that, but he could also go next, which actually adds thinkiness to if I go out first.
That's right.
There's a big bonus to it because I get to go first next round. The negative is he gets last dibs on how he wants to move the provost, which could really hose you.
Yep. And beyond that, so we're just showing you a 2-player game, which is not the optimal way to play this game. You need to play with this with more players.
Yeah.
2 players fun.
It's
but
fun.
when you add more players, then negotiation comes into play because you can say, all right, if I'm at the end of the line, and now nobody can give me resources or anything like that, but they can say, hey, I'll maybe help you out down the road or something. Or if you'll just move it up 1 spot, I'll move it up the next spot. And so the negotiation part comes in.
And hose another player.
And hosing other players, super mean, all of that. But I think the bigger, maybe not the bigger part, that's equally as bad. But when you steal these character tiles from other players, that can be huge. Like that can be,
and you're constantly. I mean, if you look at the way that we have this set up right now with this tile, because these are different every time.
Correct.
You can get a favor, which Dean shared earlier, which can steal these down here. You can get it here by having the majority, and when this comes out, you can get it here as well. So that's 3 ways in 1 round to steal these things back and forth.
Right.
So yeah, it can really get.
Yeah,
it can get. I mean, it depends on if you like high play interaction. You're gonna love that.
Yeah, I think so too. But if you don't like
you're not
mean Euro-y games, then this might not be for you. Now the other part is, you're gonna. We've got 5 that we showed out there. There's actually, I don't remember how many are in the box, but there's lots more to choose from, and you have more that come out in a 5-player game and a 3-player game than a 2-player game. But they're all very different, and I think they're all very powerful, and so stealing them becomes very important.
And the interesting thing is the characters, as the game progresses, which ones are most beneficial changes. Like early in the game, maybe I want this because I really want to get as many meeples as possible. But I mean, obviously in round 9, I mean, if someone wants to get it later on in the game, they may not get as many meeples. If they steal it towards the end, they're like, oh, well, it's going to cost me a meeple to gain a meeple, so what's the point, maybe? Or something like that. So I like how that changes. And so in addition to that, I like how the worker placement spots change over the course of the game. This is my favorite part of the game, is that more of these are, obviously, as you've seen, becoming more unlocked as the game progresses here, which is really, really neat. But also, the idea of flipping them over is cool.
Yeah.
So when you take this action down here, and you're doing like Dean did, I mean, when he flipped this over, that action is gone. And so, of course, he gets an extra meeple, but it's gone. So, like, one thing that what I would want to do in the game, but very much, is I unlocked this one, right? I built this building. I want to come down here and flip this wood over that if someone wants wood, they're going to have to go through me or pay a meeple to get wood that way or whatever. So I like how that works in the game, and I like how different tiles come out for each game, so there's that it changes the strategy, so I can't just always decide I want to take that particular strategy, so I like that as well.
Yeah, and with the setup, so you've got a wood building and a stone building that are going to be flipped over, and that's going to be the starting setup side, and so that changes it from game to game too, because potentially, there's some spot that might just give you a victory point, but there's some, like this one, let's say this one was flipped over, and this was just placed out here, well then, placed out right here. Well, then now nobody's going to gain the benefit of what John's talking about, and I enjoy that. How that plays out differently every game, I guess. So, are we ready for our final thoughts?
I am.
For our final ratings.
Yep.
All right. Well, if you are, go.
Okay. As I mentioned, really the things that I do like about the game most is the way the new actions are coming out over the course of the game. Those decisions that you're making. When do I flip that over to get more meeples? How can I most advantageously do that with which buildings I'm picking up and putting over the course of this? What I don't love, I don't know how much I love the meanness of the game. Like, I don't mind mean games. I really don't. But certain games I don't love it, though. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's certain games where I think is really great. Some games is okay. I mean, it's interesting that you have to be thinking about the provost as the game's going on, and you can't just ignore that. But do I like how you can just constantly steal things back and forth? It's not bad nor good. It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I feel about it.
It costs you, there's a cost to being mean in this game.
It's good and bad. But it's not a part of the game that I go, yeah, I love how you can steal those things. I love how you can move the provost. It's like, yeah, it's good and it's bad. So it's okay. Overall, I did enjoy this game. I also like how it's a medium light kind of weight. So I think it's one of those games that it's not a gateway brand new entry game, but maybe that kind of next step up. So I like that about the game as well. But I will say it didn't give me, like, the way I feel maybe about the going back and forth is kind of the way I feel about the game. I like the game. I do like it. There's no doubt about it. But it wasn't like, yeah, I love it. I think it's amazing. Now, I haven't played the original, and I think Dean has played the original, but it's been a long time. So I know there'll be some people that watch this video that might be disappointed that I'm not doing a lot of comparisons. It's because I've never played the original. So this is one of the perspectives, at least today, is from someone who's never played the original. Though what I've read about it, I think I might actually like the original better, potentially. But I don't know. I can't say that because I've never played it. I'm giving it 7.5 out of 10, which is a good score. I like it. I won't turn down a game very often, but it's not one that like shoots to the top where I'm like, I got to go get this game. I can't wait to. I'm glad Dean has it.
Yeah. I quite like this game. Now, John mentioned I played the app version way back in the day, and so it's difficult for me to really talk about that. Not because I get very emotional, but because I just don't remember enough about the differences in the game. But I don't remember just loving the game whenever I played it on the app version. And it could very well be that I just didn't like that version of it very much. But also it could have just been that it was an app. But when we sat down to play this, I really
like this
game a lot. Now, that kind of mid-weight Euro game is something that I really enjoy. And I don't always enjoy mean games. But the thing about this one is that I like this game a lot with the right people. And you can say that about most any big game, but I feel like especially with this one, if you are playing with people who just do not like being mean, like I can think of people right now that I will not play this game with. I won't even introduce it to them because I know that won't be their style. Yeah. However, if I'm playing with the right group, I just think this is so much fun because you are mean in this game, or you can be mean in this game. You almost have to be, but you have to pay things to do that. To move the provost. Now you can just move it 2 spots, but you still have to spend a worker and that action to be able to do that.
It's true.
And so you have to think through that piece. But if you're moving it with the guild bridge, you have to pay workers, and workers are really important in this game. You need to have a lot of workers. And so I don't mind that as much. And you, again, if you're taking the favor spots, or even going up here, you're having to spend things to get those favors to be able to steal those tiles from other people. So for me, I love the interaction in this game. I think the simplicity of the game, rounds go really fast if you're playing, but as the game goes on, it gets thinkier, especially with a lot of people. But I love it. I'm going to give this game an 8.5.
Woo!
One that I'm not going to
That's a
turn
high
down and
score.
play. I think about this game a lot since we first
That's
played
good.
it, our first game, and then the subsequent plays after that. I really have enjoyed all of my plays. So I love it. 8.5 for me. That is what did you say?
Typical Dean, not even listening to what I'm saying. 7.5.
7.5. That's what I thought you said, but I didn't want to put words in your mouth. So 8.5 for me, 7.5 from John. Tell people how they can get in touch with us.
All right, if you're enjoying our channel, we would love for you to subscribe. Even click that bell for notifications when we come out with new videos. We have a podcast, which we will be talking about this game on our podcast.
That's right.
Just search Meepletown on Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, all that good stuff. We're at Meepletown Games on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and we're Board Game Geek Guild 3407.
Thanks for coming down to Meepletown.
Whoa, easy there. Frog in your throat.
Thanks for coming to Meepletown.
Oh, I'm leaving that in.
Yeah, that's fun.
Thanks for joining us, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at Meepletown Games, and connect with us on the Meepletown Guild, Guild number 3407, at BoardGameGeek.com, and also subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. And until next time, thanks for coming down to Meepletown.